Hey, 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 hey. What up, though? How y'all faring? By good, your man, your friend and family member, Braylon Lee here once again with Beyond the Gates episode 5 after show. Glad to have all of you here in the building. Let's get to the getting and doing what we do. So we are with Nicole and Eva. We learned that Leslie wanted to leave Chicago after her man died. So we learned that um, in episode. Hang on, let me bring it back here. We learned that Alan died in episode 3. So, um, so Eva's real mom died when Eva was little, and Leslie was a friend. Excuse me, was friends with Eva's real mom. Um, let Eva is flexible and can work whenever Nicole wants, and they haven't lived in DC long, so no exclusive clients. Nicole says that hours will be back to normal after a while. There's just a lot of things going on. Then we see Bill and Haley are talking before the wedding. And Haley said, I wish you did lose so much. And Bill says, do you see me mourning over here? And it's like, of course you're not mourning because you don't care. You bastard of waste, you bow. And the concubine of waste, the cow, COW, that is Haley. Yeah, of course y'all don't care. Of course. So after all of that being said, there's nothing wrong with having it all. Haley, says, I don't need material things as long as I have you. And that's what makes Bill say nothing wrong with having it all. And then we see Andre and Dani, after the morning after, after the night before, when all of the fun is over, do you want to run me no more? So that is that there, and that it was a fantastic dream, but yet you were right beside me, basically saying it was a dream come true from Andre, and Grace had not Grace, but Dani had the same thing, had the same dream. Dani though says it has to be a night out of town that never happened. Dani said last night was amazing, and that she's felt alive in a way that she has not felt in a long time, and not one single regret she has, but she still is raw, and she can't get over the fact that she is no longer married, but she is still holding on to that energy. Then we get back to Eva and Nicole. Eva loves elephants, and Nicole collects them. So the job is just temporary until Lauren can get back on her feet. Then Haley and her friend Cassandra are helping her. And then Andre says, if you're lonely, you have options. And Andre's trying to be supportive. And then, Grace said, what happens to all good things. So you're kicking me out. Yeah, that's her home. You were there for the night, good sir. You're not the husband yet. So then, we get to Haley talking to her friend from the office there. And so, Haley's father disappeared when her mother got pregnant, so her mother resented her, no siblings, and no one is faking it because Haley believes that everyone is faking it around her. It's just like, I mean, if you gotta bring that up, I mean, maybe it's something you did. I don't know. So then we talk about Naomi and Ashley. Ashley brought up a good point. Do you really want your mom to stay with your dad that has shown his true colors? That, maybe this wedding was a good thing. And then, Kat is a volunteer, is a volunteer photographer's assistant, and she's not getting paid. But Andre is saying, I'll pay for dinner. And Kat said, well, if you, throw some dancing in there, we're good to go. So then, Ashley Morgan, her firefighter boyfriend, Andre asked about that. And Ted said that, Ashley's great, but she's not your usual sophisticated woman of the world type. And Auntie Nicole says that your attention span for women can have is a lot to be desired. Basically, you're not a committal person. And so then the nurse here, trying to get back to my notes here. Trying to get back to my notes. Trying to get back to my notes. Trying to get back to my notes. I think it was Ashley. I think no, not Ashley. I'm trying to find. Hang on. Maybe it was in the first episode. I think it was the first episode. Y'all, hang on. I'm trying to go back to my notes here. Where is it here? Where are you? Because I know we just talked about you. I know we just did. Oh, here it is here. Denise Johnson. So Denise Johnson basically talks about, is Haley a seductress and is Bill a cheater? And Ashley said it could both be the same either way the damage is done. So then, Grace goes over to Bill's law firm and, they basically talk about how, Bill and Grace not Bill and Grace, but Dani and Bill, they first met. So they met Wayne Maddox, who was a football player at Wayne's Bash. And when Dani came in the room, everyone became less. Her confidence and pride was so attractive. And so then, Bill is kind of, pulling at, Dani's heartstrings. And then, he says, it pains me to see this desperation. Where was the pride? Where's the pride of confidence? And then Dani says, wherever I am in this moment that pains you, you made me. And then Bill says, you're responsible for the choices that you made. You are Dupree, and that you should have class and distinction and everything in between. And Bill says, show some grace, be the bigger person, and forgive Haley. It's just like, no, that's never going to happen. Did your daughter show you grace? No, you did not deserve that. So why do you deserve it from your ex-wife? But anyway. So then we are in the garden at the hospital grounds. So, Ted Richardson and Nicole Dupree are basically talking about how they are feeling about how they first met. And so basically, with that being said, it was an MMA conference, a medical conference, and they were introduced to each other by someone they can't remember who. Speeches, they exchanged a few words and speeches started. And then later on that night, time and distance was abound. And then Ted gave fate a chance with a few words. They walked the beach that night, and then they were in a cabana and talked until the sun came up for that night. And then we get back to Caroline and Haley, and Caroline says, Dani be damned. It's like, okay, well. So then we see Dani go into her closet and get something in this box. We don't know what it is, but it's something. So then, there is a wedding. There's a wedding. What do they call it? A pre-reception, I guess, or something like that. And, Dani says that, Bill didn't divorce the girls, and the girls were not going to be here by themselves. So, of course, Dani, being a good mom, comes through. And then Caroline, gives a piece of cloth from her mother to wrap around Kay. And then, also Caroline gives something borrowed from her personal collection, right? So the diamonds aren't real, but you can't deny the sparkle. Then Vanessa and her husband talk. So we see that Vanessa has a black man. He is a heart surgeon, and that he's going to try and make it up to her by taking her to the Bahamas. It's nice to see that there's interracial relationships on this show, and that they are allowing those dynamics to be explored fully. Because on soap operas, usually it's a story mechanic but that doesn't mean that it's utilized the in the most proper way. So I do appreciate that it's not just a mechanic, but it's being utilized, and it's being allowed to breathe. So so after all of that, Danny's best friend shows up and says, I cut my trip short. I wasn't gonna miss this night, and we're gonna get you through this night, and then we're going to move on. So Jacob gives Naomi a drink, and then a lawyer from Bill's firm wants to take Kat out on a date. And I'm just like, this is dicey. This is dicey because, like, Kat's a grown woman, but also, too, you could be turning on your auntie. So very, 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 very dicey situation there. So, Vanessa, is trying to be encouraging about the flight to Paris, that you can take the flight to Paris afterward. But Danny is not having it. Martin's husband talked to someone, and Martin, wants to know who it is, but Martin's husband says an old acquaintance. And then, not Grace, but Danny and Bill. Why do I keep thinking Grace? I'm thinking, I don't know why I keep thinking Grace. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, Danny says, I hope my presence is a dark cloud over your miserable life. And Bill owes an apology to her because he was disrespectful earlier. He is tired of always explaining himself. And then Danny threw the champagne in Bill's face. And then, Naomi and Chelsea are in front of their dad. And Bill is like, I know it was under duress, but I appreciate you being here. And Naomi walks away, and Bill says to Chelsea, let me guess, you hate me too. And Chelsea says, I don't hate you, but I don't like you very much. And I'm like, well, that's your fault. You did that to yourself, bro. Like, you hurt your family. You expect your family to be your family. Like, that's just not going to happen. So Nicole and Danny talk, and Nicole asks a very good question. Do you feel like, it's hard for you? It's hard for you with what's going on because it's going to be hard to live a life without him or being alone because you're okay. So you not loving Bill, is that causing you to fear of you building a life without him or being alone? And Danny says, you can't microanalyze me. I don't think she was trying to. I think she was actually genuinely asking a real genuine question because the love of not having the love of someone can be very damaging. And so, it comes to the point where, is it a security blanket for you? I think that's where that comes in. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, this is a lot. And don't worry, we're getting to the big shebang, the big shaboozy, the big kahooey. But anyway, that bastard has to pay, and I'm not letting it go. Then Martin and Bill talk, and Bill says, I don't want to be accused of overkill. And Martin has a glimpse of like, oh damn, like, ugh, okay. And Bill says, let your family know if deciding to freeze me out's the best decision for the family. It's just like, Bill, can you just let it go, bro? Like, you got what you want. You got the community to show up for you having an affair. Okay. So then Naomi and Chelsea check in on Danny, and Danny says to Naomi and Chelsea, no matter what happens tonight, I love you something fierce. And of course, the Darcy, we love you too, Mom. And Danny says, go in. I'm just gonna powder up and freshen up and everything in between. So then the processional starts, and Caroline starts to walk, and Bill says, you'll be fine. I'm just like, dude, this Asian woman backstage in the dressing room of the country club said, Danny be damned. And it's like, well, Danny is there. Are you gonna keep the same energy or no? So, everybody starts to stand for Haley, and Vernon, the consummate professional he is, non-violence. He's just trying to go along to get along. Stands up, and Anita looks like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Good Lord Jesus. So, and I feel her like we've done more than enough. We are staying here, then we are going home. That is it. And they're all dressed in black. Even Bill said that, like, this is like a funeral. And Vernon said very articulately, this is like a funeral because this is the last favor you're ever going to get from this family. And I feel like Bill should just be humble enough, swallow his pride, and take the L and move on. Like, because the more you disturb the hornet's nest, the wasp nest, the more that they're going to be pissed off at you. So then we see Andre and Ashley talk. Ashley dropped off proofs to Nicole. And so Ashley and Andre gets onto this elevator, and a pregnant woman's on the elevator. And basically, Leslie and Eva talk about what's going on, and that, Eva got the job. And Leslie says, you're going to be in your father's house. So it made me think of basically that. Let me see which episode here. I have it in my notes. I think it's episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so in episode 2, Dana or Leslie is looking at Ted. So I'm guessing that's what she means by you'll be in your father's house. I guess we'll see next week what that entails. So then, Andre's inviting Ashley out to eat, and then the elevator stops, and this woman is about to give birth, and so it's about to be a real deal thriller in the hospital. Wordplay, everybody. Okay, listen. And then finally, we're gathered here today to celebrate Bill and Haley's nuptials. They made by objects. Then, speak now for her piece. Grace says, I object. And you would think that, the disdain that, Dani has, the family has, because Anita did say you could be there with all the disdain as much as you please. But little did Anita know. Little did Vernon know. Little did the daughters know. Naomi and Chelsea. Little did Kat know. Little did the community know that Grace pulls out a pow and pow somebody. Now, this is, of course, who powed the JR moment. And also too, who powed ghost moment. And that was all in the first week of this show. So wonderful, wonderful show. I'm so glad that I was able to do it for y'all. I hope y'all have been able to hear my voice in all of these. That's why I did the hello, which is weird because usually I do the music and I try to keep the virtual tour thing going. But I guess for these first ones, we'll see how this turns out. But one love, much love, all love. Y'all enjoy your night and enjoy the content. I love you. I value, I embrace you all. And like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Love you all. Bye-bye.